Good day to all my people and peace and love to the world and all my Aboriginal people. Today I'm here to record a special video of highlightment and enlightenment and highlighting all of the disrespect and violation by states or governments and by these thieves who's called gangster with a badge, which is the so-called police officers enforcing policies for the slave master. Okay, first I'm going to start off with my affidavit of sovereignty. And as you would see, I will give you it here. Affidavit of sovereignty. And I'm going to read certain thing in it. Equally, under the law, is paramount and mandatory by law. I, Tonic Ali, is sovereign. Hereby declare that I am competent to manage all my own affairs. All other entities are incompetent to manage any of my affairs. And I hereby freed. A sovereign cannot be tried in his own court. Consists with the eternal tradition of common law. Unless I have harmed or violated someone or their property, I have committed no crime, and therefore I'm not subject to any penalty. Okay? As such, the hidden or unrevealed contract that supposedly create obligation to perform for persons of subject of status are inapplicable to me and are null and void. If I have participated in any of the supposed benefits associated with these hidden contracts, I have done so under duress for lack of other practical alternatives. Any such participation does not constitute acceptance in any contract law because of the absence of full disclosure of any valued offer and voluntary consent without misrepresentation or coercion. Under contract law, without a valued voluntary offer and acceptance knowingly entered into by both parties, there is no meeting of the minds and therefore no valued contract. Any supposed contract is therefore void. Okay? Ab initio. Alright? I'm going to go by briefing off this here now. The fact that a birth certificate was granted to me by a local hospital or government agency when I entered into this world is irrelevant to my sovereignty. No status, high or low, can be assigned to another person through a piece of paper without the recipient's full knowledge and consent. Therefore, such piece of paper provide only hashery, date and place of information only. It indicates nothing about jurisdiction, nothing about property ownership, nothing about rights, and nothing about subject status. The only document that can have any legal meaning as it concerns my status in society are those which I have signed as an adult with full disclosure and consent and full knowledge, free from misrepresentation or coercion of any kind. My birth certificate, warehouse recipient, have been redeemed, accepted for filing in a UCC1 filing signed on the date 12th of November 1976, received and recorded by Register State Department SVG for the Security of State on the date of the 1st of November 1976, filing number A1813, and therefore none hold any claim to either my straw name nor my natural self. Okay, I'm a free human being. So, and basically, I just want to draw certain important facts that's gonna reveal to others who's trying to become free and who wants to make necessary steps just like me, and how to protecting the rights and solving their problems with the gangsters that carry the badge that we call police, and the illegal performance of the politicians where they're trying to take the people government and put themselves as government, these monocrats. Okay, so use of semantics. There are some immature people with mental imbalances such as the craving to dominate over other people who masquerade as government. Hear that? They masquerade as government. They're not government, they just masquerade as government. Just because they alter definition of words in the law books to their supposed advantage doesn't mean we have to accept these definitions. The fact that they define the word person, address, male, resident, motor vehicle, driving, passenger, employee, income, and many others in ways different from the common usage so as to be associated with a subject or a slave status means nothing in real life, because the court have become entangled in the game of semantics. Be it known to all courts and all parties that if I ever signed any document or spoke any words on record using words defined by twists in the law books different from the common usage, there can be no effect whatsoever on my sovereignty status in society thereby, nor can there be created any obligation to perform in any manner by the more use of such words, where the meaning in the common dictionary different from the meaning in the law dictionary. It is the meaning in the common dictionary that prevails because it is more trustworthy. All right, my people. Now, what I'm gonna do now for reference of more enlightenment towards you, brothers and sisters, I'm gonna quote from the Constitution. You see it, say there? All right. Constitution of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. All right. All right. I just want to make you people know how corrupt and dangerous these people are and how lie. First, I'm going to start with Chapter 2, Guiding Principle of State Policies. Okay. The people are the true political sovereign of the state. Powers belong to the people. Therefore, the will of the people shall be the base of the authority of government. The people exercise their sovereignty by the process of democracy through their representatives and senators in the National Assembly and through such democratic organs as may be established by or under this Constitution. Okay, when we use a representative or senators, is that the representative are mouths that they would say speak for the people, but in terms of this aspect, what is going on right now is that they're actually thief. They don't represent the people. They take over the people government and speaking for themselves and creating policies to exploit the common man, okay, and rob him of his daily life and his livelihood. Now, I'm going to put a stop to it by teaching you people how corrupt these systems are. And if you pick a law book and study it for yourself, you will be able to decipher the so-called codes and ordinances that they use to deprive you of your rights and privilege and win them in their own court by using their own scheme and turn it over against them. Because the law books protect you people. You are sovereign, okay? In formulating and implementing fundamental policies, measures, whether or not it be translated into law. You hear that? It don't always be translated into law, but yet they use the police to enforce them on you, which is called slavery. Okay? Government must constantly act primarily in furtherance of what is in the best interest of the people. They must act in the best interest. So, for instance, the so-called License Act is a fraud. It's not in the best interest of the people, because I'm going to quote certain stuff for you now. I'll go right back around to the other part of this where you can see that that is an exploitation of your rights to travel. All right, let me get into it. First, let me finish off this party. The Constitution is founded on and is dedicated to ensuring the paramount constitutional doctrines of the freedom of the individual, balanced by the civic responsibility of the individual, which means it must be free rights. It must be equal for every human being to be naturally protected under the Constitution. And if it is a violation of their rights, that is a policy that's enforced by the politician and use the police officer to enforce, it is an illegal and unlawful process, and we must put a stop to it. People, stand up for your rights. And I'm going to dedicate certain stuff to you, people, that is going to make a very good highlighting. Okay? Without prejudice to the generality of subsection 1 of this section, it is hereby affirmed that lawfully depriving a person of his personal liberty does not without more justify denying him his other rights and freedom. That's corruption, what they're doing. So they make their own law, they breach their own constitution, and they violate the treaties and the, but we're not going to have nothing. We're not going to let that go on. We're going to put a stop to it. All right, people, again now. Okay, organs of state and other public authorities, such shall adhere to and be guided by the obligations and commitments of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to recognize integration such as in the Caribbean Community CARICOM and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, and to the applicable international law. You hear that? They must apply international law. Okay? While protecting the rights and the benefits which St. Vincent and the Grenadines derive from such regional integration and international law. Just breaking it out for you people. Now, this specific section 29 is what the police officer used to bring forth a so-called driver's permit act, refusal to have a driver's permit, which would be the license card that ones would to carry, which is an unlawful procedure, and it's actually a corruption because there is no law. Now they use section 29 on the paper that they write the fake charge under the fake name that they try to denationalize me, which is crime, which is criminal offense, okay, used by the police officer. Now the section that they used was section 29 subsection 1. Now I'll read it for you and show you that it says nothing about that, and that is just a fraud, which is another violation, and it's also contempt in the own court of law. Now hear this, okay? A person shall not be regarded as having been deprived of his life in contravention of this section if he is subject to capital punishment in accordance with section 29 of this constitution, subsection 1. No person shall be deprived of his personal liberty save as may be authorized by law in any of the following cases, that is to say, in execution of the sentence or court order, whether established of St. Vincent and the Grenadines or some other country in respect of a criminal offense of which he has been convicted. Okay? Now, this have nothing to say about the so-called driver's permit. That's to show you how corrupt and lie and fraud is. Because there is no law in these constitutions that is of any license to drive. That is a fraud. But I'm highlighting it. And how they just make themselves so guilty. They shouldn't have messed with me, you know. I'm just exposing them. I'm showing you the corruption. They shouldn't have done what they done. Why I have to do this? Because I'm exposing them. Because they're using sections, but if the common people would research the sections that they bring up to identify the so-called fake charges, such as the license fraud that they keep bringing on the regular people, they will go in the courthouse and turn them upside down because it will prove how corrupt and lie it is. Because such section is not replying to driver's permit. It's a lie. It talks about capital punishment for high criminal offense. Nothing about license, which is a fraud. So we're going to nail them. That's nail number 1. I've got nail number 2 to put out again, people. So just take it easy. I'm looking deep in it, and I'm going to give you some serious preview that's going to highlight various different aspects of these corrupted people. Now, on the so-called license now to drive for the convoy that I have, where they claim you have to have a license for they call it the vehicle, or they would say a car, license to drive, and they give you is a privilege. Now, that is a fraud. There is no such thing. If the people is the government, which means they must make law in respect of the people's rights and privilege. If you violate that, then that is a violation of the own constitution, which means politicians and the group can't make a law without the people overseeing and see if it's in the best interest of the people. If it's not in the best interest of the people, then that is called fraud, and that is called extortion, which is going on from the politician to the police. So that's what and police was originally is gangsters. 3 million of a police officer. Let me give you them fast. First meaning, policy enforcers for the slave master. That's what politicians are. Slave master. That system of government came from slavery. Second meaning, modern day gangster. Third meaning, hired assassin, mercenary, extortionist for the corporate system that is known today as the government or state. All right. Now, section 34, subsection 1 is what they use now to tell you that this is the charge we bring forth against you for not having valued license registration for the car, which is another illegal and lie and fraud. Let me prove the fraud to you again. Hear what section 34 subsection 1 says. Protection of the provision of property. No such thing about license for car. Now we're exposing these thieves. That's what we're all about. Okay. Except with his own consent, a person shall not be hindered of the enjoyment of his freedom of expression. Include freedom to hold and express opinions without interference. That says nothing about driver's license for vehicle. That's another fraud I highlight for you. And 2 fake charges that they brought. And when they charge other people for these same offenses, they usually use different sections in the in the law book, which makes it even more contradicting. So I have a couple of people, I'm going to highlight them. I'm going to blow them up when I go. I'm going to mess the whole place up because they're too corrupt. Watch and see this. You know, it's what it really is. Eh? Now, this is one where we have to highlight. You know what I mean? Protection of freedom of movement. Now, that's what they try to take your rights, freedom to travel, to turn into a so-called privilege by using code and ordinance, using different words, as you see I recorded and read out from the affidavit of sovereignty, where they twist the words around to justify themselves. But you have to care for the words you use, because we don't drive, we travel, and second of all, we don't own car, we have convoy. So we convey our convoy for our convenience. Get it like that. Oh, okay, this is now protection of freedom of movement. A person, this is 36, subsection 1. A person shall not be deprived of his freedom of movement. That is to say, the right to move freely throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the right to reside in any part of the state, the right to enter the state, the right to leave the state, and immunity from expulsion from the state. Hear that? So they can't dictate your life, take your rights from rights to travel and tell you stupidness about license. That is a fraud. That is a big, big fraud. Highlighting these thieves. Okay? Get this now. Protection of Aboriginal rights in their own constitution. Okay. Section 4, subsection 1. Of this section shall not apply to any law so far as that law makes provision for the appropriation of public revenue or other public funds. You cannot charge Aboriginal people in their own island. The treaties give you permission to come here and dwell with us, only occupying the cities, and you are to pay us tax, not we pay you. That is a violation. That's like I coming into your house without invitation and kidnap you and hold you ransom. That's exactly what you're doing. Yeah, it's real. Get it straight, people. Stop falling asleep. Go again. You know what I mean? For the appropriation of public revenue or other funds, with respect to persons who are not citizens, Aboriginal people cannot be citizens. A citizen is known in the artificial code and the 14th Amendment as a slave. Okay? Who has no rights, no civil rights, no civil liberties. Okay? Means abandon all and is a slave. That's what the 14th Amendment identify a citizen of. And that goes for the world. So stop getting tired, people. Get this thing straight. Now, age of legal responsibility, 38 subsection 1. The age of which a person shall decide for himself his own personal, societal destiny under his civil legal responsibility shall be 18 years. 18 years, brother. What these people are doing is a bunch of thief. You can't dictate a man whereabouts once he's a very knowledgeable and have a sound mind, and he's not psychiatric and he's very intelligent. You don't have rights to dictate that human being life. That means he can hold his own, and he's at the age of 18 where he will make choices. So whether he decide to demolish your evil corrupted system and become who he was born to be, which is Aboriginal descent, and take back what was lost and stolen, you have to respect that. He's of the age of consent. Get that in your head, thieves and gangsters we call police. We ain't playing with all you. No. Yeah? This is another part now that pertains to Aboriginal rights. The same chapter, same going on here now. Okay? To determine any question arising in the case of any persons which is referred to in it pursuant of subsection 3 of this section, and may make such declaration and orders, issue such rights, and give such direction as it may consider appropriate for the purpose of enforcing or securing the enforcement of any of the provision of section 26 to 40 inclusive of this constitution, provide that the High Court may decline to exercise its powers under this section if it is satisfied that adequate means of redress for the contravention alleged are or have been available to the person concerned under any other law. That's why you have to obey international law and you have to obey the treaties. This declaration of my Aboriginal rights, that's why it says, and may make such declaration and orders. I have my declaration, I have my indigenous ID, you know what I mean, which is my nationality card, that's the real name for it, okay, which identify Aboriginal, free human being, okay, just like state in the Magna Carta Treaty about the free man, which is not under your corporate system. Get it straight, people. We have to expose these thieves. The The Constitution is there to protect you. Pick it up and read it. You will learn. You will protect yourself. You don't need a liar, which is called a lawyer. You don't need them. You have the rights. You have the power in your hand. Exercise it. Don't let these thieves take you away and take what you have. Peace, love, happiness, my people.